Now let's focus on a humanized understanding of data collection. Data really helps us understand who it is we're talking to, and from there, it means we can better interact, engage, and strengthen our relationships with one another. But where do we begin? There is so much information that we need to manage. This has been the biggest challenge for businesses, particularly marketers. We have all this powerful and valuable information on our customers, but it's rarely organized or stored in a way that allows it to be actionable. You might be thinking to yourself, well, why is this? The short answer, well, it's kind of a long answer. There's a few things that we struggle with when it comes to customer data. Number one, the collection of data. Number two, the unification of data. Number three, the accuracy of data. And finally, number four, the actionability of data. Each of these have been fraught with nuance since the day that marketers realized, hey, this person kind of is telling me what they like. Maybe I should use that information to personalize their experience. So let's take a look at why, and we'll start off with the collection of data. Now, we all know marketers are really good at collecting data, whether it be through profile preferences when a consumer signs up for a brand's loyalty program, or whether it's CRM system being leveraged by the sales or service teams to manage one-to-one interactions, all the way down to DMPs who are tracking and unifying the actions of a customer that take across marketing properties like your business app or maybe a website. But as you can see, there's a common thread here. Collection is occurring in multiple different places. This is where businesses and moreover marketers begin to lose control of all the information that customers are telling them. Although businesses and marketers need to treat the customer relationship like a human-to-human interaction, there's one huge problem. Businesses simply don't collect data like humans do. Humans use a brain, which is integrated. This makes it much easier to combine the information in order to make inferences that are actually reasonably accurate. Humans leverage this power to do things like suggesting a great place to go for dinner, providing helpful advice, or simply just remembering a special event like someone's birthday. Yet from the business or marketer's perspective, as you can see above, all this information is typically stored in multiple different systems, which is akin to someone essentially having three separate brains. These systems aren't integrated and only somewhat speak to each other, and this means that we're unable to combine all of that information for a complete picture. That problem leads us to our next challenge, which is the unification of data. Data unification is critical in human-to-human relationships. Imagine you're going to go meet a friend and they've asked you to grab them a coffee. Now, in the past, they've told you that they love lattes, but you also know they're lactose intolerant. Now, both of these data points are critical pieces of information that you need to know in order to bring them what they want. But if you ignore one or the other, the results are less than satisfactory. If you turn up with a latte full of cream, well, you basically just guaranteed you've ruined your friend's day. If you turn up with a cold brew and almond milk, sure, they can drink it, but it's not exactly what they wanted. For marketers and businesses, it's no different. If you're a retailer and you deliver a social ad to a customer promoting men's shoes, and the customer is a woman, then that interaction is probably going to be both confusing and dissatisfying. Yes, this individual had showcased interest in running shoes because of their past interactions with the brand, but they also provided you their gender when they signed up for your loyalty program. If these pieces of data aren't unified and leveraged together, then the end result's not going to be desirable for either party. As a business, you're basically wasting money on delivering a message, and this individual as a customer will not receive any value from your interactions, and therefore, it's not going to help build a relationship. Unification of data provides you with the ability to look at a complete data set, not bits and pieces, and therefore a single source of truth required to do so. Now let's talk about the accuracy of data. Accuracy of data is another issue that stops businesses from really getting to know their customers. The main reason this occurs is based on two key components. Number one, too many data points. Number two, too many silos. Let's put this into another human-to-human example. Our brains obviously have a finite ability when it comes to remembering and recalling information about the people that we interact with. The more we try to retain, naturally, the more we forget. For instance, let's say you have a friend who used to hate running, but over time, they've become a lot more health conscious and started to run more. If you didn't update this piece of information and stored both the idea that they hated running and loved running in your mind, you simply wouldn't know which was the preference. Data can change over time, and therefore we need to ensure it's updated and accurate. The more data points we collect, the more we need to manage. And ultimately, we need to identify what's worth keeping track of and what isn't. On the business to consumer side, the same can be said. If we are focused purely on capturing data without reconciliation or cleansing, then we end up with contradictions and assumptions. And when you assume, well, you get the point. As for data silos, they are one of the main reasons we have data inaccuracies. If you have multiple systems holding multiple data points, many of which are duplicates, this is a recipe for disaster. In the real world, think about what happens when we gossip about people and collect information from second and third parties. Remember the example we used of our friend who loves to run? Well, what if one of your other friends told you that same person had never run in their life, while another friend told you that they run every day? What you end up with is information that is incomplete and many times contradicting. You feel much more comfortable in your own interpretation of another individual's personality when you interact and engage with them firsthand. Having a single source of information is the most powerful way to ensure data accuracy and, of course, reduce contradictions. And finally, actionability of data. Actionability of data is really the end goal of all of this. In human-to-human relationships, you consume information about each other from previous and current engagements, and this ensures that future experiences are valuable. What if you don't know where your friend lives or how to reach them? How do you enhance or add value to that relationship if you can't meet that person where they are? Now, I know it's 2020, everyone has iPhones, so this analogy might not be all that realistic, but at the end of the day, at its very basic level, in order to create strong relationships with someone, you need to be able to communicate and interact with them. Whether that person is right in front of you, whether it's via telephone, through the email, or Zoom, or maybe interpretive dance if that's your thing, the business to consumer relationship really isn't that much different, except you're an entity and not a human. So going out for dinner is probably out of the question. That said, there are many ways we can interact with our customers as businesses. We can do things through digital advertising via our website and mobile apps, through email, direct mail, and also in store. However, in order to do this, we need to be able to ensure we know exactly who these unique individuals are in each of these places. This is doable through unique identifiers. For email, that's the email address. For direct mail, that's an address. For digital advertising, that could be a mobile number or a cookie ID. All these valuable individual data points that we've collected in regards to who a customer is, what they care about, and their preferences is basically redundant if it's not married up to a plethora of identifiers that allow us to know who they are wherever they are. Therefore, in order to make data actionable, we need to tie together not only the data points that tell us about what an individual cares about, but also all the data points that allow us to reach them in different environments. All of this information needs to come together in one single universal profile that provides us both insights on the individual and the information that we need to engage directly with them.